Love you.
All right, so we are back. I'm Brad Listi, and I'm here with Mira Gonzalez. Hi, Mira.
Hi, Brad. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I slept well. I like daylight savings. I like springing forward, and I like it
You
that it's
like it? What
rainy.
the hell?
I don't mind it.
The rain
Now,
is nice.
yeah, and it's raining, so it's easier to sleep when it's like gray and dark.
You're the only person on earth who likes losing an hour of sleep. That's kind of psychotic.
Do you want to know the truth?
Hmm.
On Sunday, I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is unheard of for me.
That's
And
really late for you?
I freaked out. I was like, what? I jumped out of bed. I was like, what is going on? I didn't even realize that it was daylight savings. So it was actually 7, which is still late for me, but it was Sunday. So,
That's insane. You're insane.
so what's going on in the world of celebrity and popular culture that we need to address this week?
Well, there's a lot going on, but first I would like to address you can follow us on Twitter. My name is Mira Gons on Twitter, and you can follow Brad on Instagram and Bluesky at other PPL. And you can subscribe, right, Brad?
To this podcast?
Yeah, you can subscribe to this podcast. What else should I say? Anything else?
I don't know. We're good.
So, okay, so this week there's a couple of stories. The main one being one that is like so not funny that it's almost funny that we have to cover it. Brad and I were talking about this before the show started, and we were just like, I guess we have to mention it, but like, holy shit, this show is really not about things like being sad and being fucked up. It's about things being light and happy and whatever. But we have to mention this. So this week, or was it last week, I guess, Gene Hackman died. And
Well, he
the
actually died. He
headlines.
actually died like weeks ago, but they found
Really? It
him.
wasn't last week?
Well, they found
Oh,
him,
right.
but he
So
had
he
been
died a
dead.
few weeks ago. He had been dead for like 2 weeks, I think. And him and his wife were both found dead, but found dead in separate rooms. I think we mentioned last week. And basically, this week, the coroner's report came through and said that what happened was, and again, this is really not funny, so it's pretty, I feel kind of insane reporting on it, but Gene Hackman had pretty advanced Alzheimer's. And so what happened is that his wife, Betsy, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Arakawa, she died of something called hantavirus. I think it's called hantavirus. Again, I haven't said it out loud, which is a illness that I guess you can get from like rodent droppings, and it's very rare. So it like starts with like flu-like symptoms, and then you die. And don't Google it because I did, and I couldn't sleep for a whole night, and it was a total nightmare. And then Gene Hackman died about a week after her. So that means a very, very dark thing, which is that when you have Alzheimer's, you cannot hold your memory in your head even for very long at all. And so he probably was like discovering and rediscovering her over and over again until he had a heart attack, more or less.
What a fucked up situation.
Really dark way to start the show.
Yeah, but I mean, at least we have an answer. We kind of know what happened. But I mean, this hantavirus is terrifying. She was only 65 years old.
I mean, it's
And
terrifying and luckily rare, but like, oh my god, it's so scary. Like, what the fuck?
and so what?
Just from
Like you
rat droppings.
so if there's rats in your house and they poop and you breathe it in?
You like if you're cleaning it up and yeah, and you breathe it in or you get some on your hands or you get like whatever, I guess sometimes they can have this virus that like doesn't really affect the rat but really affects people.
And it's incurable.
And it's incurable. I guess maybe unless you get it like I think like 50% of people die and like they only don't die if you get it really quick, but it's got the same symptoms as a flu. So it's like impossible to not impossible, but it's very, very hard to know if you need to like go right to the hospital or if you just have a flu.
So wait,
So
well,
it's
how do
like
you die? What do you like? What happens? You can't breathe, or you have a heart attack, or
I think you go into like organ failure. So I think yeah, it's like a heart attack. Like you just shut down and just die.
the thing I want to know about this gene, like first of all, we have it, I think, established that Betsy Arakawa, Gene Hackman's wife, died first.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were able to. I guess you can determine that in an autopsy or something.
Which explains, like, in the last story, or last week when we were covering the story, she had started mummifying. And I was like, why hasn't Jean started mummifying? What is mummifying? When do you start mummifying? And that explains it, is that she died a week before him, and so she had started mummifying and he had not.
Okay. So, yeah, but that means that he was alone in this house at age 95 for, like, a week, just, like, wandering around. He's got advanced, dementia. My question is, like, where the fuck were his kids? Where was there
Hmm.
no one checking in on them at all? He's 95 years old. I guess they probably thought, "She's 65, she's got it under control." I don't know.
Yeah, so like she had been caring for him. And so like that was like the mainly how he had been getting care, was just she had been caring for him. But they also had like people who like worked on the property, like gardeners and things like that. And the gardener said that it was like they had not heard from her in 2 weeks or something like that. And then Gene Hackman, wasn't discovered until like a week later. So that would like add up that she had died about around that time. But they didn't hear anything. And I think they were maybe the ones who like alerted authorities, like, hey, some fuck's happening here. Nobody's picking up the phone. No one's answering. We don't know what's going on. Or
Well,
maybe they
no,
discovered her.
the gardener looked in the window and saw him, like, or saw one of them at least. So,
Right. So, like, from what I haven't really looked into it super thoroughly, but from what I understand, Gene Hackman has a very strained relationship with at least one of his sons, just because he like wasn't really a dad. He wasn't really around. He was just on set all the time. So I think he didn't really talk to at least one of his kids. His daughter, he had a better relationship with. And she just like today, for the first time, talked to the press and said, that she's mourning and she had a very good relationship with Betsy. So it seems like they, I guess, had a less strained relationship, but it seemed like she wasn't checking on them either. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. And it also makes me wonder about like his will, like who's getting the money. Like I'll bet that it was the wife who was in the will, but now that she's not there, the kid's just gonna have to fight over it.
I would imagine he had a plan in place, but what do I know? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Estate planning, they always fuck that up somehow with rich people. They're always doing some crazy shit. So, that was a very fun story for our fun, lighthearted culture podcast.
Just a
This is a really
heartwarming.
fun episode so far.
Yeah,
We're
it's a
like doing great.
heartwarming.
What's like another horrible? Should we talk about like 9/11 too? Like, like you want to talk about ISIS? You want to talk about like fucking? What's another horrible thing? You want to talk about like the gulags?
Or just, like, being buried alive, I think, would maybe be, like, a nicer.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have a theory about being buried alive. So I watched a movie that I think was genuinely the scariest movie that I have ever, like, scary in a way where it felt like it was putting something evil into the world, like genuinely, and it fucked me up. And it was called Sporloose in Danish, and I guess the English version is The Vanishing, I want to say.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
so like I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie, but I watched this movie, and afterwards I was thinking to myself, if I was buried alive, what would I do? I've seen these videos. I've watched many of them, of course. Again, I should not be allowed to like use Google. Uh, how you get out of being buried alive. Basically, you're supposed to take your fist and you're supposed to punch upward in like motions, like really like sudden motions, right? Once you get a hole in the fucking thing, you're supposed to then push the dirt to the side and climb up. Now, I see that video and I say to myself, there's not a chance in fucking hell that I would ever be able to do that. I would die so fast. And I just am incapable of that. What I would do is I would breathe really, really heavily until I pass out, and then I would just die. And that would be a lot more pleasant than, dying of starvation or whatever.
Alright. Yeah, I think I would punch. I would give it a shot anyway.
No, I wouldn't, because I don't want to like die from like being buried in dirt, like in that, like suffocated like that. I would rather just breathe and breathe and breathe until I faint, and then I don't feel it.
But you could do that? You could make yourself faint? I don't know if I could. I
Well,
mean, I
just because
guess
there's not a lot of oxygen down there. Like that's one of the main issues, is like if you're breathing really deep like that and you're over and over, you're using up the oxygen, and so you're gonna die faster.
oh, okay. You wanna hasten the process, is what you're
Yeah, I don't
saying.
want to fucking be down there for hours, fucking dying in a little fucking thing. That's terrifying. I want that shit to go fast.
That Danish movie called The Vanishing, I wanna say that, Stanley Kubrick thought it was the scariest movie he'd ever seen or something.
That's correct. He
Is that
did.
right?
And that's why,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I watched it. And then the thing about that movie is you'll watch it and you'll be like, this is the scariest movie he's ever seen. Like, what? And then by the end, you will not be able to sleep for weeks. It is I like truly like, and like, I loved it. It was a fantastic movie. I thought it was great. but it puts something evil into the world that can no longer be revoked.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if is that positive to put a movie out like that? It's like this toxic, terrifying, awful scenario, like dramatized for people's consumption.
I mean, I certainly enjoy it, and so did Stanley Kubrick, I guess. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I love being scared in a controlled circumstance. It's my favorite thing. I love a roller coaster. I love a scary movie. I don't like being pranked because I'm not expecting it. But if I'm like sitting down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get scared. Like I want to be fucking scared. And that movie really fucking did it. Like, oh wow, like holy shit. Worse than Hereditary, like scarier than like any like Terrifier movie. It is like spooky, downright spooky, and made me think a lot about what I would do if I got buried alive.
It's it's a much darker, like, kind of entertainment than the wholesome family programming that we are creating.
That's right, and it's also, I think darker than the wholesome family programming which we are watching this week. Did you like that transition? That was a pretty good one, huh?
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
so what we're watching this week is, of course, the Baldwins. Last week I was moving, and so I was not very good at my job, and I did not watch the Baldwins. This week, though, I did watch the Baldwins, and I even took notes.
Oh, whoa. Episode
Yeah.
3.
So this episode of the Baldwins, I think last week you were saying the next episode is going to be the trial episode, and I was like, no way, they're going to stretch that out to the very end and make you like watch every single episode before you get to see the trial. I We were almost both right, I would say, for this, because they really it was the episode about the trial, but like I don't know if you'll agree, they really like glossed the fuck over it, didn't they?
Yeah, they sped right through it. I mean, like, what it made me realize is that, I mean, I guess they'll maybe have to have a cliffhanger if they wanna do subsequent seasons, but it feels like they're just building a story arc where it's like Alec is getting better, the family is
Right.
healing, he's, like, recovering from trauma, and it's just about resurrecting him as a, public figure.
Yeah, it is exactly that. It's just about resurrecting Alec as a public figure. And as I was watching it, I was thinking about our conversation of like, how much is Alec getting paid for this? And I realized like, Alec should be paying them for this, frankly. Like, this is a publicity boon for him. This is like him being allowed on television to actively rewrite his narrative after he killed someone, which
Yeah.
is a lot. And I get why TLC did it, because TLC is like the messiest reality channel of all time. But like, I think even the family of the woman that he killed came out and was like, "This show is disgusting," and she's not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't believe that I thought that they had settled everything with the civil stuff, that they'd kinda paid that family off, but to do this before that's even done,
Well, they
that
didn't settle the civil stuff though, because it was a mistrial. They called it a mistrial because it wasn't the family that was pressing charges; it was the state of New Mexico. Because if you're on a film set in a certain state or city, they have some amount of responsibility over it, and because they're going to be giving some of their money to it for tax breaks. And
so wait, the trial that we saw on this episode was the criminal trial for, like, involuntary manslaughter.
it was a civil trial for
No, but he could have gone to
no, it was a
prison.
criminal trial, but it was the state of New Mexico who was suing him. It wasn't the family.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and so I thought
Mhm.
that there's also, like, a civil case that the family could bring trying to pursue, like, a financial penalty,
So
and
they did bring that case and he picked them off. They like had an out of court settlement for that case.
are you sure?
Hmm. And then
I
this is like they couldn't avoid this one because it was New Mexico, and it got thrown away as a mistrial because there was supposedly evidence that the prosecution didn't give to the defense, and so it was like, I don't know if that's a Brady violation or what,
So
but the
wait, Helena Hutchins, who's the woman that got killed on the set
mhm.
of the movie Rust, the family of Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer who was shot and killed, condemned Alec Baldwin's new TLC show and have asked him to sit for a deposition in their wrongful death lawsuit against him.
Wrongful death. Okay, so it's a civil lawsuit against him, right?
Yeah,
Is
that's what
wrongful
I'm
death
saying.
civil? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
S
then the trial that we saw was New Mexico against Alec Baldwin, wasn't it?
and that was the criminal trial. which he
The
was,
criminal.
which got
Oh, so
dismissed. So the criminal trial that we saw in New Mexico was dismissed because the prosecution withheld crucial evidence from the
yes.
defense, which is a no-no. So it was not only dismissed, it was dismissed with prejudice, which
Right.
is pretty damning for the prosecution. But the family of Helena Hutchins is appalled by this reality show, and they are asking Alec Baldwin to sit for a deposition. So they're going to bring a civil case against him. And what is surprising to me is the fact that Alec Baldwin and his lawyers didn't like rush to try to settle with that family before they
I
did.
swore they settled one case though with the family, didn't they? Like I feel like there was one other case that the family was gonna put against him, and maybe it was something worse than wrongful death that he paid them off for. Like he definitely settled one case out of court. And then the case that was potentially gonna put him in jail, this trial that we saw in the episode, uh the I was looking up what the like evidence issue was, like the like withholding of evidence, and literally it was like
Oh, wait,
halfway
wait,
through this.
wait, wait. You're right. Hang on. This is so fucking
Hell
confusing.
yeah!
Wait,
Now
it
who's
says
stoned?
the AI overview. I'm looking at the AI overview of Google. It says
Oh yeah,
Alec Baldwin settled a wrongful death lawsuit with the family of cinematographer Helena Hutchins in October of 2022, and then the settlement was finalized in March of 2023.
right. And the case that we saw was one that he could not settle because it was the state against him.
The settlement included payments to the Hutchins estate from insurance funds and a portion of the film's profits. Matthew Hutchins was also the widower was also to be a producer on Rust if filming resumed.
And then so then what was the trial we saw in this episode? I'm pretty sure it was involuntary manslaughter, New Mexico versus Baldwin. Yeah,
Yeah. But it's
right.
like, but it also, Matthew Hutchins' lawyer says that Baldwin and the other producers of Rust are behind on payments and that they are considering suing for breach of agreement.
Holy shit, he's behind on payments? See, that fucking checks out. He seems like financially in peril a little bit right now. The show makes it seem like that. Like he
Yeah.
like had to sell his Hamptons house and all of that, the only house where he seemed to have any like peace.
Well, the house in the Hamptons was taken off the market. It never sold. He
It never
listed it.
sold.
No, he listed
Shit.
it. He listed it for 29 million and then dropped it to like 18 million and nobody
And
bought
it
it. And then
never sold.
they
Wow.
pulled it. And then I got into like some sort of like Google spiral. And Alec Baldwin also bought like a 55-acre farm in Vermont. And
Whoa.
I want to say he did it not long after the disaster on the set
But
of
it was
Rust.
after the disaster.
Yeah, so maybe because he keeps talking in this reality show, he keeps talking about how he wants to leave public life. It's very funny to me that he keeps saying this while he's on a fucking reality show with his entire family.
Yeah, he's like, that's what I was. It's like, okay, you're in front of a camera. You're putting your kids in front of the camera. Your wife is in front of the camera. Your fucking trial is in front of the camera. Legally, also, by the way, he's legally not allowed to talk about the trial. So they're somehow doing all of this shit without actually talking about the trial because they're legally not allowed to. And he's like, I want to leave public life in front of like studio lights and 50 cameras in his house in Manhattan. Like, bro, that's not gonna work.
Hilaria, Hilaria, I'm tired of public life. Now
And so
let's go have a staged lunch in Montauk with a camera crew.
okay, but you have to joke it with the waiters. How you say you have to go haha and laugh it with the waiters. That part, okay. The part I was like dying laughing when he's in this restaurant with Hilaria post trial. He's like the trial has been thrown out as a mistrial, which sketchy reasons why it was thrown out as a mistrial in my opinion. But we can go back to that. And he's in this Montauk restaurant with Hilaria and he's ordering something and he's like, so how many eggs are in this? And the guy's like, maybe like 3 eggs. Oh, good. I want a lot of eggs. He screams it at the top of his lungs. I want a lot of eggs in here. I think I wrote down the exact, yeah. It was just him very aggressively saying, all right, I want a lot of eggs. Like, what kind of fucking statement is that? Who says that? It's like he's never spoken to a waiter in his life. Like, Is 3 a lot? How many eggs do you want? Do you want 4? Do you want 5? Are you happy with the amount of eggs?
I don't feel like he should be eating that. His heart, you can't. It's too much.
That's a good point. The cholesterol can't be good.
No,
He
and
is
but
looking
I did note that
fucked.
Hilaria ordered the summer salad, which is a sensible choice.
Very sensible choice. And she
But
looks great, unlike Alec, who looks like he is actively melting every episode.
well, and he keeps talking about how like all this trauma from the shooting has erased his memory. Like he said, he used to have a photographic memory, and now he can't remember anything.
Yeah.
He's
He
like
said he
losing
used to
his
go to
mind.
30 Rock and they'd give him all these pages and he'd be able to memorize it in a second, and now he can't anymore. And frankly, like, I think he's maybe just getting older. I don't know if that's necessarily, maybe it's also the PTSD, but I think like you just get to a certain age and like you don't remember things as well, and that's just like how the brain works.
I can't
It
remember shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't, I'm 32, I can't remember shit. Like, and Alec Baldwin is like, how old is he? 70 something?
He's 66.
66. Jesus Christ. He looks like shit, dude. That's crazy. Like, oh my god. Like for like a regular set, like 66, 66, how you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a regular 66-year-old, he doesn't look great. For a celebrity 66-year-old, he looks like, I mean, hell. Like, he looks like hell. He looks so bad. Like, saying he needs Botox is, it doesn't even begin to cover it. Like, holy fucking shit, has he seen his face? Like, do something about that. Figure that out, Alec. You are a very, very famous celebrity. You can't be going out with a face like that. It's just not a good idea.
He just looks tired. He's so tired.
He looks so tired, but he also just looks like he's sinking. Like, it looks like gravity is affecting him a little bit more than it affects everybody else. You know, like he's just like getting like a little bit more pressure on him. His face is just kind of falling downward. Like he's got these bags under his eyes. He looks so tired and so miserable that when he acts not tired or miserable, you're like, that's fake. That's a lie. Because it's just on his face.
Some people just, the thing is though, some people just age better than others. Like, I feel like there are
Some
certain
people wear
people,
sunscreen.
well, yeah, but I mean, I think it's also genetic. Like some people just get like hotter and hotter and hotter until finally they're like 80 and then they look old. Like, and
Yeah,
then there are other people who just, by the time they're in their 40s, it's like they just kind of
it's good.
look,
It's done.
it's over.
I mean, seeing Stephen Baldwin in the courtroom was kind of a jump scare. I was like, oh, that looks like Steven Seagal. Like, holy shit. Like, he's clearly gotten work done that Alec has not. He's clearly like tried to maintain his face, but not good work. And like he's like a little like still, and his eyebrows are kind of high on his head, and his hair is really greased back. It's so maybe it's genetic. Maybe they're just not aging well as people.
Was Billy Baldwin? I can't remember who was in the, like, I know Baldwin's sister. He's got a sister who was there, and then
It was
Steven
the
was there.
sister and Steven. I don't remember seeing how many fucking siblings does he have?
He comes from a huge family too. That's probably he's trying to like replicate his own upbringing, but I think he comes from like a family of 8 or 9 kids. It's
Right.
that Irish Catholic thing.
And like why is it that like the only like Baldwin cousin who's famous is the one who's married to Justin Bieber? I feel like there's a ton of cousins out there that we just don't know about, right?
Well, Steven has kids, and then Billy Baldwin is married to what was the name of that? Wilson Phillips. He's married to China
Really?
Wilson. Yeah, do you remember Wilson Phillips? That was like
Yeah,
my
I know
childhood.
Wilson Phillips. That's
Yeah.
a yeah, that's a very you coded person, but I do know who Wilson Phillips is. Largely
Someday
because
somebody's gonna turn
you're
around and make you
gonna
want to
make
say
us and say
goodbye.
goodbye. It's that song was performed on an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because Kyle is friends with, I guess, Wilson Phillips. I don't know.
It's called Hold On, that song.
Yeah. What's the how does the chorus go? Hold
For
on
one more day,
for
things will
one
go
more
your
day.
way. Hold
That's a
on
good
for
song.
one more. I mean,
Yeah,
I
hold on for one more day. Do you think when Alec is like getting ready for getting in front of the camera, he's like pumping that song in the bathroom and he's singing it to himself in the mirror as he's like brushing the few hairs on his head?
I just need to hold on for one more day, Hilaria.
Hold on for one more day.
Uno más dia, Hilaria. Uno más
Uno
dia.
más días. Uno más. Uno más
We
días.
are awaiting the verdict on my future.
I swear to God, something fucked up happened with that trial. Like, Do you know what the evidence was that was supposedly being withheld?
No, but I mean, listen, I think that the judge was absolutely right to dismiss it. Like, that's I mean, the prosecution fucked up. You can't do that. It's a,
They did fuck up.
yeah,
But it,
it's a,
like the evidence was like just a bullet that some guy found during the trial many, many months after the Rust set, like or the Rust shooting. And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I found this bullet. Here you go." And like that somehow was evidence, but the prosecution didn't use it because it was like nothing. And then they made the terrible mistake of not sharing it with the defense, which it is actually totally grounds for a mistrial. Like you really cannot fuck that shit up.
that's right. That's right. And Alec has good lawyers who caught it and did their job. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the way that it goes. But it was real emotion. Like when that trial was dismissed, like he just breaks down sobbing and then Hilaria sobbing. Like, I don't think that was an act. I think I could see
It
their
was one of the
relief.
only it was one of the only times on this show, honestly, where I've seen Alec, like, express an emotion, and I felt like, "Yeah, that seems real." Like, he's like, "That's not fake." Every other time I've been like, I don't know, Alec, that's like is that really a real feeling, or are you just, like, trying your best to make yourself look good? That was real. He was
I
really relieved.
The part where they're in Montauk and they're having this lunch, it's just a couple's lunch. It's Alec and Hilaria just, like, out on a date, basically having
Oh, and
lunch
before
together.
they go there, like, hilarious, like, Alec is a hey, Alec, he's a New Yorker. He loves in New York, and that means that going out to eat. And that was it. Like, oh, being a New Yorker means going out to eat.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, probably before they had all these kids, he was going out to eat every night in New York, but I,
He certainly looks like he doesn't eat from home. Looks like he's going out and eating a bunch of eggs every
yeah.
night.
More huevos, Hilaria. More
Más
huevos.
huevos, más
Más
huevos.
más huevos.
Más huevos, por favor.
Ahora. Más huevos.
Ahora. Ahora aquí.
Eggs are,
So,
I have a problem with eggs. I find eggs kinda disgusting, just the whole
yeah, you
project
do
of
have an
eggs.
issue with eggs.
I
Is
have
there
issues with food and eating and, like, this idea of being at a restaurant and then you have a camera crew filming you eat. That is, like, my fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I
Like,
would be
as a
so
viewer,
self-conscious.
yeah, like, I mean, I remember watching, like, Bourdain, and it's like he's, like, eating whatever he's eating, like, pickled, like, liver or whatever. He loves to eat, like, disgusting shit. Like, he's kind of a sadist in that way, just trying to gross you out, and,
Yeah.
like but I feel bad for anybody who's gotta eat on camera. That's such a nightmare.
Yeah. It's such a nightmare, and it's like I have a theory that people who, like, have successful food shows like Anthony Bourdain or Guy Fieri, a large part of why their show is successful is because they have the ability to eat on camera in a way that, like, isn't incredibly off-putting. Like, even Bourdain's trying to gross you out, but he's not eating in a way where you're like, "Ugh, like, what a disgusting man." Like, the food is gross, but, like, he isn't gross. If you're able to do that, I think that is, like, 50% of having a successful food show.
How many eggs can Anthony Bourdain eat in one sitting?
Not as many as me.
Just picturing Alec Baldwin just, like, stuffing his face with, like, hard-boiled eggs.
Oh god. Oh my god. It's so gross. And when they brought the sandwich, it it really did have a lot of eggs. It was like the sandwich had like a stack of fucking omelet in it. It was like pretty intense actually. I was like, I don't want that much egg in my egg sandwich. Like one is enough. Like we can just
They're so
let's calm down
disgusting.
here.
It's so disgusting. What is an egg? It's like an embryo? What is it? It's so gross.
Did you just say what is an egg? Is it an embryo?
What is it?
It's
It's
an
like
egg,
a
Brad.
I know, but it's like,
It's
what
a
is that
single
yellow
cell.
ugh.
The yellow thing is it's an egg. So okay, so
Is it a baby
chicken.
chicken?
Well, Brad, it's not fertilized. We don't
Oh,
eat
okay.
fertilized eggs. There's no baby chicken in it because it's not fertilized. It's like if I were to have my period. It's a chicken period.
Ugh. So you're eating a chicken, period?
I mean, in the sense that when you have a period, like an egg comes out and dies and then allows for a new egg to come in so you can like then ovulate and be able to get pregnant. But for a
So
chicken, the egg is large and actually just falls out entirely.
yeah. So you're eating a chicken's menstrual,
I
output.
feel like we're going to get a letter in here that's like, Mira, you fundamentally don't understand how the female body works. Like, you don't know what your period is. You're insane.
So
So,
the arc of this Baldwin's episode, like my take on it is that it was like get through the trial as quickly as possible, and we
mhm.
should also note, like you said it earlier, but it's important to underline the fact that they cannot legally talk about it very much. Like they're kind of bound to keep quiet about it, I guess, because it could, I don't know, fuck up their
Yeah. They only showed
standing.
like what was already on the news.
Yeah. So they show those clips and then they immediately get to what, like Alec and Hilaria having this like egg lunch in Montauk. And then they end the episode. It's all working up to like Alec he really needs therapy. He
Yeah,
needs to go to
right, the whole
therapy.
time. Hilarious, like, he needs to go to therapy, he refuses, he resists. But then at this Montauk lunch, like, Hilarious, like, Alec, how do you feel about how you say therapy? And and Alex like, yeah, okay, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, no pushback, zero. And we've heard so much all episode about how Alec's resisting therapy. Alec doesn't want to do therapy, but then as soon as she asks him, he's like, yeah, therapy, sure. Like just the most planned fucking thing.
So wait, I like what I wonder too is like, does Alec Baldwin, in like the privacy of his own thoughts, consider this show? Is he like thinking to himself, like, you know what, fuck it, like everything's falling apart. Like I'm just gonna get raw and I'm gonna get real and I'm gonna let
No.
cameras in and they can see us, or is he like strategically thinking, like I've got to put on this show and I've got
Yeah.
to, and is he like just kind of like
It's the
quietly,
latter.
and he's like
I think like
devastated. He's devastated internally, like just
yes, I think he's internally devastated in a way that he's not showing on the show. He's showing a different kind of devastation, but like the kind of devastation that he's probably experiencing is something that's like a lot less like camera friendly and a lot less nice. He's probably lashing out at his family a lot. He's probably like very angry. He's probably very up and down like in a very insane way. And in the show, it's just like Hilaria talking about how he's really suffering and he's really struggling, and like you said about the memory thing, they were talking about that, and then it was like Alex OCD is really taking over, and like at the lunch again and again, like we said before, I don't think he has OCD. I think he just likes to keep his house pretty clean.
yeah.
And so like at this lunch, like Hilarious like, yeah, but with the cleaning, like it's been a lot. And Alex like, is it bad to want a clean house? And she's like, well, it's bad when the thoughts start making you upset and like you think about it too much and like you're not having a good time. And like, I'm sorry, if I had fucking 20,000 kids in my house making a goddamn huge mess, I wouldn't be having a great time cleaning it up either. But
Yeah.
I'd clean it up anyways, and I would be having bad thoughts about it.
Yeah, she's like, if you're stressing everyone else out with your cleanly
Yeah.
ways or whatever.
And he's
So
like, Hilaria, I just wanna clean the dishes in the sink. Hilaria, there's frosting on the floor.
just please, Hilaria, there's human feces in the kitchen. I'm just trying to. I don't want to get hantavirus, Hilaria.
Hilaria, don't you read the news? Hantavirus. Everybody has to wear gloves now.
She's
And
like
like
trying to like pathologize everything he does. It's like fucking
right.
A.
And like I think they're trying to make it so it's like, they're I mean, obviously the whole show is trying to like rebuild Alec's image, right? So it's trying to show Alec, didn't mean to do this. He's really like feeling bad about it. And like he really like is having his fucking brain is going crazy. He's having mental illness. He's always struggled with mental illness. You're supposed to feel bad for him. And so they focused on this OCD thing because OCD is a kind of mental illness where people can really like, I guess, get a grip on like how it could like fuck up your life and what it is. And it's pretty well known. But as somebody who has been very close to people with OCD and who had OCD as a child, it is not cleaning is like not an OCD thing unless you are like on the stairs wiping the step every time you step on it or something. It's not just like people who have OCD are just clean. And like that is literally what Hilaria is positing here over and over and over again.
She did mention that like when they were first dating, she would go to it like to his apartment and all of like the dishes in his cabinets would be like just so. Again, I have deep respect for that. I'm
Yeah,
into
that
that.
seems fine. You keep a
Yeah.
clean house. You want it to be pleasant. You know where the dishes go, a place for everything and everything in its place. I mean, it's nice to be that way. I think that's a positive attribute.
Did you hear Hilaria? It was like kind of mentioned briefly, but she was talking about how she has ADHD and that's why
Yes.
she has to work out so much because she's like
Yeah, she's
got
like,
a
I just have to look hot like all the time because I've got ADHD. I don't like want to look like, I'm 10 years younger than I am and I'm like insanely hot and I've never aged in my life. I have to because of ADHD.
Had 7 ch
It's
I've had 7 children. I look like I'm 22 years old and like a bikini
it's all
model.
the ADHD. It's
That's
just
right.
it's fixing my skin and my body and making everything better. It's so fucking funny. And like so she's positing it like it's a oh, they have opposite issues where she has ADHD and makes everything messy and he has OCD and has to make everything clean. Which is just not true again of either. They're not like the opposite ends of two spectrums. Like they're completely different illnesses that I don't think either of them actually have. And like they show her right after this whole OCD thing, or one of the OCD conversations, like right before they do therapy, they show her making a cake with her eldest daughter. And again, as somebody who bakes pretty regularly, they were making the cake in an insane manner that was causing a gigantic mess. And I would have been so stressed out about it. And Hilaria was like, Alec, you need to let her be a kid. Like, you need to like go away. We're making a cake. I would be so stressed. It was so messy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Pick up after yourselves.
So then after this whole they actually do go to therapy on camera, which like is something that I'm curious how you feel about that, Brad, because I'm used to it because they do that on Real Housewives a lot, and so I know how insane it is and like that it's something that happens. But did it strike you as completely insane the second that they had a therapist on camera?
Yeah. The whole thing seemed weird. The therapist seemed kinda weird, and then I think maybe being on therapy or in therapy on camera is like a close second, but behind like eating on camera in terms of my level of like innate discomfort. Like
I
I just
would
can't.
rather shit on camera than actually do therapy for real on camera.
I mean, yeah, it's like such a intimate, private thing. It doesn't seem. I can't believe that it's real. I can't believe that
It's
that was
just
it.
not is the thing. Like when you're on camera, like you're not going to be doing therapy the same way you would if you weren't on camera. It just you just can't.
I could feel like I think I could feel in those scenes, Alex, like self-loathing and just like frustration at the whole, like his whole lot in life.
Yeah.
Like,
It was kind of demeaning.
it's just
He
like, what
like
am I doing?
it was kind yeah, I feel like he was embarrassed and like he kind of should be. It was like you're doing fake therapy on TLC. That's where your life is right now, Alec. Like you went from being Alec Baldwin to doing therapy in a reality show on TLC. Like that like Jesus Christ, how far the mighty have fallen.
What have I become, my sweetest friend? Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all, Hilaria. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
Oh my god. Holy shit. I mean, that is basically like that would have been less embarrassing than what he did in therapy on television if he just like recited that song.
Honestly, I feel like that's where this show is heading. It's like he's gonna eat like a large quantity of eggs on camera. He's gonna do therapy on camera. Like by the end of this first season, he's gonna be like singing karaoke in some like shitty ass Long Island bar, like with
This is like some like Twin Peaks ass bar with like a red light on him, totally empty, nobody's in there, and he's just singing Hurt. Oh my god. It was it was one of the weirder episodes of the Baldwins, I would say. It was a very like because just like the trial is such a crazy thing, and we're expecting them to talk about it, and then they cannot talk about it, and like that's the episode, and like as a viewer, it's kind of like what? Why is this show even happening if they can't talk about it?
right. Well, I mean, and
But
it's like so let's make predictions because we're almost halfway through. And it just feels to me kind of predictable. Everything about this
mm-hmm,
show has been so fucking predictable. It's like
mm-hmm,
we're going to get a redemption narrative for the second half of the show. There's going to be some lows.
mm-hmm.
Alex going to have some, he's going to have some crises. He's going to be,
Yep.
like frantically cleaning his kitchen a million times or whatever.
They're
But
gonna
like,
show a real fight, I think, or not a real fight, but like what is presented as a real fight between Alec and Hilaria.
oh, that's a good prediction because you can kind of feel it simmering. There's some tension.
Yeah. And you know that if they're like doing the show, they want people to think, oh, it's like our real lives, like it's messy, and that they have to have kind of a real fight for that to happen.
And then they can make up and it's part of the redemption. It'll be part of the way the
Exactly.
season. But then if they want to do a next season, they have to sort of leave some narrative threads open. There's got to be a bit of a
There is not.
cliffhanger.
That's another prediction I'm gonna. There is not going to be a second season, and nobody is planning on a second season. Is my prediction. Like
This is
this is not the kind of show that can have a second season.
it's just like an extended infomercial for like the
Yes.
Alec Baldwin like redemption tour.
Right. It's just like, don't hate Alec Baldwin that much. Please, please, I'm begging you, please look at his family. He has children. Like, uh, it's just an Alec Baldwin redemption arc show. It might as well be a press release. If TLC is paying him for it, I'd like kind of be surprised. Like, it seems like it's mainly for Alec's benefit, not for the benefit of TLC.
Do you remember when
So,
Alec was talking about how like a lot of people had turned their back on him, like he'd lost a lot
oh
of
my
friends, or
god, yeah.
I wonder who. That's what I want to
I
know.
mean,
Like, who are
who
the people
did he
that he
have
would?
any friends before?
He was good friends with Lorne Michaels. They were
Mm.
like dinner
I'll
buddies.
bet that's the one because Lorne Michaels also kicked him off the She's Not Trump anymore, and the other guy is much better at it. I think the I can't remember his name, but that SNL cast member is much better at doing a Trump impression. But it was around the time of the shooting when he was like, "No more Alec Baldwin on SNL."
Well, I think Alec maybe receded from it like willingly, but who knows? Who
But
knows?
at this point, he would take any job available to him, and and he probably is hitting up Lauren like, "Can I please come back on SNL and have some money?" And Lauren's probably just like, no."
This is the question. This is the question. Is like if Lorne is still his pal and is like advising him, you know, off camera, you know, kind of giving him advice on how to, you know, fix his life or whatever. It would be interesting to me if Lorne Michaels would be advising Alec to do a reality show like this, but it might be the only option available to him. And then if Lorne ditched Alec, that would be interesting too. Kind of be shitty if he's really your friend and he's like having a hard time and you're just like,
I'll
okay,
bet he
bye.
ditched him.
You think
I'll bet
so?
he ditched him. Yeah, because like not saying anything, he didn't say anything publicly about him, which like is fair. But that is kind of what Alec needs, right? Is somebody to publicly be like, I'm standing by Alec Baldwin. When he says people aren't standing by him, he probably means publicly people aren't standing by him. Even if Alec is, or even if Lauren is privately supporting Alec, he's not actually doing the thing to support Alec, which is publicly talk about it, which I could see just resulting in them like not being friends anymore. Like Alec being like, "Can you say something nice about me?" and Lauren just being like, "No."
Hang on a second. I'm curious about something.
Hmm.
I'm doing some sleuthing.
You're doing some sleuthing. Is it
I
about
just
Lauren?
want to
Lauren Michaels seems like a douchebag in real life to me. I'll bet he's not like a good guy.
I mean, well, none of his cast members ever really dog him. Like they seem to
But
like
they're
be
not allowed. That is a no-no in Hollywood. If you are like an SNL cast member, what you want is to get off the SNL cast and then be able to like, write a movie and like be a comedian in your own right, like Will Ferrell or whatever. And in order to do that, you have to remain friends with Lauren Michael for the rest of your life. Like Lauren Michaels is not out here just like letting his enemies thrive. I don't think. I think you have to kiss the ring.
yeah, no, exactly. Like I think if you came after Lorne Michaels, that would be bad for your career. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard anybody say anything like super awful about him. But the thing that I can't get past, and we've sort of talked about this before, but the thing that I can't get past is how Lorne Michaels makes all of these like aspiring SNL cast members wait like 6 hours. Like
Mm-hmm.
he'll schedule a meeting with them, and then he'll just be like 6 hours late.
Yeah, as if it's like some kind of power move or something. It's so fucking insanely rude and terrible. It's such a terrible like litmus test for who's going to be good on your show. It's like, are you willing to just be treated like shit to just like sit there for hours and hours waiting just for fun? And also, I don't like his writing process for SNL. I think it's fucked up. Like the way that SNL will just hire like so many writers. They'll hire like 30 writers or something like that or more. And then all of those writers have to write a bunch of skits all week and stay up all night long and just like try their best to write whatever. And then they all have to like pitch those skits to Lorne. And then Lorne picks like five of them or whatever. So there are SNL writers who are on the show for years and years and years and years and never get a sketch on the show, never get to have their writing shown at all. Like, it just is, it's a fucked up, like, why wouldn't you just hire writers who you know are talented and less of them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all, you know, he's got his own. I mean, I guess credit to him. He built like his own kingdom. But I was just, when I was thinking about the friendship between Lorne and Alec Baldwin, I was wondering who owns TLC Network, and it's Warner Brothers, and Lorne
Oh.
Michaels' production company has its like they have offices on the Paramount lot, and I think they're probably in cahoots with NBC probably. So I don't know. I
So
was
would Warner
thinking
Brothers be like the opposite side of Lorne Michaels, or like
I don't know. I just was thinking like maybe Lorne Michaels behind the scenes was helping Alec like get this reality show
oh
deal, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. So
yeah, right. If it's like Paramount versus Warner Brothers, that's like directly opposing, which I think would actually give more credence to the idea that Lorne did drop Alec. And like Lorne Michaels is not known to stand by people who do anything problematic. He's careful with his public persona. Like he's never been like, yes, I'm gonna like I like this, or like he had Donald Trump on SNL, right? And like that was fucking insane. And now he's like trying to bury it. Like shit like that, he doesn't like stand by it.
well, and I read that profile of him in the New Yorker, and some cast member was like, if Lorne sees somebody drowning, like like there's a comedian on his show who's like really struggling, his response isn't to go help the person; it's to like get away from that person and like go
Yeah.
talk to Steve Martin.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Be like, oh, you're diseased. You're gonna give me prion disease and I gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, I think that you're going to give me the celebrity equivalent of hantavirus.
Is that how he fucking sounds? I've never heard him talk before.
No, it doesn't everybody. He's like the Dr. Evil character in Austin Powers. Like everybody,
Oh, yes.
every comedian who does or who's been on that show does an impression of him. But Alex probably like, Lorne, we've had so many dinners at Nobu together, and now this. Why hast thou betrayed me, Lorne?
So many dinners at Nobu.
Alec, your weakness is pathetic and it disgusts me.
Oh my god. I mean, I would bet that Lorne Michaels is the kind of person who doesn't say anything when he drops you. Like I don't think that Lorne Michaels ever said to Alec like, I'm not doing this or whatever. I think he just stopped responding to phone calls.
It's called ghosting, Alec.
What do you mean, Lorne?
Lorne, call me. It's Alec. Where are you, Lorne?
Lorne, where are you? You're so far. You feel so far away.
Do you know what, like, Lorne Michaels' net worth is like $500 million plus? Do you know that?
Jesus.
He's filthy fucking rich.
Man, that guy needs to fucking step down and give Tina Fey the reins. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he's been doing that shit for too long. It's like a Joe Biden situation here. We gotta get him out of there.
So what else is going on in
So
celebrity
the next
world?
thing in celebrity world is this week was Paris Fashion Week, which brings us to a new Brad's Fashion Corner. I don't know if we have a theme song for this.
Brad's Fashion Corner.
No, that's our theme song. It's Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin presents Brad's Fashion Corner.
Brad's here in the spotlight. It leisure on display. Paris Fashion Week is right as face shows.
So, okay, this week is Paris Fashion Week, which, do you know what that is, Brad?
It's just like celebrities sitting along a catwalk watching like models walk.
Okay, I think this brings us to let's call it a segment within a segment. This is
so meta.
Brad's Fashion Corner, Brad Learns, Paris Fashion Week edition.
Brad's in the city lights. Paris Fashion Week, so bright.
So,
Chasing dreams and haute couture.
Paris Fashion Week. How am I going to explain this? Okay, Paris Fashion Week, they have fashion weeks in different cities across the world that take place at different times of the year. So this fashion week was for spring. So fashion companies, fashion brands will come out with different collections, for the different seasons. You'll have the spring collection, the winter collection, summer collection, etc. So this is for spring 25 collections of, I don't really know how they decide like what designers are going to show in New York and what designers are going to show in Paris and like how they separate that out. But maybe it's just like each season gets one city for Fashion Week. I don't know. Basically, they have all these designers showing this spring's new collection, and it's the first time that you get to see it, that anybody gets to see it, is when it's on the runway. So they'll get celebrities to be in the front row of these fashion shows that it'll be like a week, and so like every day there's several shows that celebrities will go to, and the celebrities' outfits are also a big part of it. People will like look at the celebrities, see what the celebrities are wearing to the fashion shows. And so it's just kind of a big fashion parade of rich people.
So I think like it would be like eating on camera, going to therapy on camera, and then like having to sit in the front row at one of these fashion events. That seems like a nightmare to me. I cannot
Why does
imagine
it seem
doing that.
like a night? Like, what part of it seems like a nightmare?
It's just not my thing. And I feel like having cameras on you and you're sitting there with all these like weird fashion people and like you're trying to like pretend like you know what's going on. That would be me. I just don't belong there, I think is the point.
Right. I mean, I think that like sitting there and watching does seem incredibly like nerve-wracking and annoying because you just feel like everybody is also watching you, and so you can't really like be there. You have to kind of like be always like sitting in a position that like isn't, I don't know, like unflattering or whatever. It seems like that part seems like a nightmare. But watching the fashion shows actually seems so fun to me.
I mean, I
Does that
guess
not
like
seem appealing to you?
I think like as like it would be one the kind of thing where I'd be like, well, I might as well do it once, you know, just to like see what it actually is. I think as an
Hmm.
experience, I might if somebody invited me, I don't think I would pay to go, but you know, if somebody was
Right.
like, if we get invited, Mira, to sit in the front row next to Anna Wintour, then I would go.
So, not to brag, but I did once go. I didn't get invited. I went as a plus one with a friend of mine who was much more successful than me, to a, it was like a Vogue brunch, which is where I met Andre Leon Talley, and he just like looked me up and down and wouldn't even say hi to me. And I was like, thank you so much. I love that. And Anna Wintour was there, and there was a fashion show, and I was in the front row. There was only a front row, though. There was just one row. But I I didn't see it was like up and coming designers, so it wasn't like I saw like a McQueen fashion show or anything like that, but it it was really fun. And it was really fun because I knew that like nobody was looking at me. I'm a plus one. I'm a nobody. No one knows who I am. No one cares. And that made it okay.
What were
But
you
if I
wearing?
knew,
What were you wearing? You must have felt some pressure to bring it.
oh yeah, absolutely I did. But like sorry, in terms of like sorry, I'm not sorry. The one thing that I'm not super concerned about is my sense of fashion and taste. Like I know that like I can dress for these things. Like that's actually one area in which like I'm not super concerned, and especially I could do it if I had like, you know, access to crazy designers and stylists and all of that. It would be a lot easier, but like I've got some crazy clothes and I know how to put them on, and I'm not like I'm okay with being bold. And so that part did not stress me out too much. I
So
did wear
what did you
some,
wear?
I wore it was a black, it was kind of like a structured black origami dress. So it had like a Japanese neckline, and then it had like not quite peplums, but these sort of like spiky origami looking guys at the waist. I don't know. And it was like a mini dress. And then I wore a over it, I wore a Stella McCartney jacket that was like, it was pink mesh, so you could totally see through it, and it like didn't actually give any it wasn't a jacket that actually functioned as a jacket, but I did wear it. And then I wore these pink sunglasses that had pink like shades, but you could see through them. And then I wore a pair of pink Gucci loafers. The Stella McCartney and Gucci was borrowed from my friend though.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you just got this stuff in your closet.
No, the origami dress I do have, that was vintage, and I bought that one myself. I don't think it was like a specific designer. It's just a very cool dress. But no, I do not own Gucci loafers. I'm not a billionaire, and that is an insane thing to own. I do
Oh
not
yeah.
have those.
How much do Gucci loafers cost? Is it like $1,000, $1,500 for a pair of those
it
shoes?
it's probably like $1,000 for like a pair of nice Gucci loafers, but then there's like a bunch of different like, you know, types of Gucci loafers. Some of them are going to be more or less expensive than other ones, I think. So like I think a basic Gucci loafer is probably like 900 if I had to guess, which is insane. And like if I had to spend $900 on a pair of shoes, I would get something else. But the ones I wore were pink, and that really did go with my outfit. So
All right.
um Paris Fashion Week is essentially that. They're looking at the new collections, and the celebrities go. The celebrities' outfits are, for normal people, almost the main part of Fashion Week is seeing what the celebrities wear to the fashion shows, which is also kind of meta and insane. And so this week we do have a Paris Fashion Week themed Brad's Fashion Corner, but it is not people who are on the runway. It is people who went to these shows. And by people, I mean two people. We are going to analyze Chappell Roan and Adrien Brody. So at these shows,
Hey
basically
everybody,
celeb.
just just feeling grateful here at Fashion Week, feeling inspired. Stay positive.
You know, I was seeing stay
Wear your
positive.
wear your best couture, and this is an amazing moment in my life. Thank you.
When he gave that Academy Awards speech, I was seeing a lot of people online being like, why is Adrien Brody so weird? What the fuck? And in my mind, I was thinking, you know, Brad introduced me to Adrien Brody's Twitter account, and I gotta
Or
say, this
his
award
Instagram, his
speech.
Instagram.
Yes, Instagram. No, not his Twitter account, his Instagram. Brad introduced me to his Instagram where he's doing these like front facing camera, like walking around New York saying, like, I'm so grateful for this day. Like, everybody, you have a great day out there. And if anybody else had seen that, I was just thinking to myself, none of you would be surprised at this Adrien Brody speech, because I definitely was not.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Adrian. Don't you realize I'm suffering? I'm not grateful for this
Shut the fuck
day.
up.
My house is a disaster. I can't get enough eggs.
I can't get enough eggs. I'll bet the egg prices are tough for Alec these days. Can't afford the eggs.
I'm on camera in a therapist's office, Adrian.
There's no eggs here, Adrien. They didn't bring a single egg.
Have fun with your second best actor Oscar, you motherfucker.
So we're gonna do Adrien Brody last because basically we're focusing on Chappell Roan. So she has gone, as many celebrities do, you go to multiple fashion shows and you wear a different outfit to each fashion show. So all of these outfits that we are about to show are outfits which Chappell wore to various shows, some of which I know, and other ones I don't know what show it was. So, opening up the window now. All right, our first look of today's Brad's Fashion Corner is this look from Chappell Roan. She is going to the Vivienne Westwood show, and I'll say I feel like this is a tribute to Vivienne Westwood, like personally, what she looked like. So Chappell has her red hair, but she's sort of straightened it and teased it out so it's really frizzy, and then she's slicked back the top of it to do a half updo and a half downdo. But it's like frizzy, sticks right out of her head, kind of straight, kind of curled, very Vivienne Westwood. That's how she wore her hair also. A slightly less extreme version, but basically that. And then she's got her classic drag makeup on, which is like, not her classic drag makeup on, but it's drag makeup. She's got a white face, a bold red lip, and then she has big, big, big black cat eye with blue corners. And then the dress she's wearing is a floor length. It's like beaded sequin, and then it's a one shoulder dress, and then the other shoulder, which is the same as the other sleeve, but it's draped. The other shoulder has a totally see-through material, so you can see her tit on one side. And then the dress is also kind of see-through on the bottom, so you can sort of see underneath, like the underwear that she's wearing or whatever cute thing. And then it comes with a little belt, and we do have one more picture of this with some up-close versions. She's wearing a big gold hoop earring that looks like it's melting. And then the
Oh, you
belt
can
is
see
studded.
you can see like her full left breast when I
Yeah,
couldn't
her
see
full
that
left breast.
all right. All right. Well, that changes things for me.
There is a does it change things for the best or for the worse?
Well, what I was going to say is that I like it. Like she's got great style, and I think that like from the neck up, just like her makeup and the hair, it's all very striking and interesting. But for what I know, but like there's like a Vivienne Westwood like sign behind her, or like some sort of like
Yeah,
branding.
so it's the Vivienne Westwood show. So she's standing in front of the classic Vivienne Westwood lettering.
Yeah, but it's also got spray paint because Vivienne Westwood the designer who sort of like mainstreamed like the punk aesthetic into like fashion.
So yes, she was, and she was a fucking icon. And I could sit here and rattle off her whole history to you, but I won't because it's long. But she basically created the Sex Pistols. The Sex Pistols, like as a band, Vivienne Westwood was the one who gave them their sense of style, who gave them their look that is so iconic, and basically, yeah, pioneered the whole punk, like British punk look of plaid and safety pins. And her theory was that it was a distinctly British look, but torn apart. And so it was kind of like, you know, God Save the Queen or whatever. Like they were wearing British colors, British flags, and it was torn, and then it was put together with safety pins. And that was like before Vivienne Westwood was just not a look. So she dressed in a very bold way also for her entire life.
All right. So taking all of that into consideration, this like punk lineage, Vivienne Westwood being dead. Like when I first looked at this dress, I liked it, but I found it like it's a bit conservative for the Vivienne Westwood brand. But then I didn't
Mhm.
know that her full boob was showing because I couldn't
Yeah.
see it. So it's like there's something kind of like slightly funereal, like it's a black
Mhm.
dress and it goes all the way to the floor, which
Yeah.
might be some kind of nod to the fact that Vivienne Westwood is missed. But I kind of like that when you see her from one side, it's like, oh, this is kind of a conservative look, but then the hair and the makeup
Mm.
are sort of like out there and edgy. But then when you look at her straight on and you see that the dress exposes one of her boobs, it's like, okay, there's like the punk thing.
Right.
There's like
That's
there's
true. I
like
didn't consider that.
yeah. So I mean, she
And
looks great. She looks great in it. I
mhm.
don't hate it. I just think like the only thing I would say is like context wise, like a floor length black dress at a Vivienne Westwood event might be a little bit conservative, but
At the same time though, the bottom of the dress, it's hard to see in this photo, but is also see-through. So you can see like she's wearing like a one piece or something underneath it, and you can see like all of her legs. So like I think maybe in real life like that is more apparent in the dress, which would maybe make it a little bit more risque. But I see what you're saying, and I didn't really notice this myself, but you're right that like from one side it looks kind of like a very almost like conservative dress to be wearing to Vivienne Westwood, a very like not that edgy. And then you turn to the other side and not only can you see one tit, but you can also see the studded belt that she has put on this dress, which you can't really see from the other side. And so for
right.
that to be like on one side having the studded belt and the tit showing, that's like, and different earrings too actually on either side. She's got
Yeah.
like a stud on one side and then a big hanging hoop on the other. Interesting. So we like this look.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I also like it. So our next look. Okay, this one I believe she wore to the McQueen show. I think. Don't quote me on that though. So she's got her hair in sort of a messy updo with small fishtail braids hanging down. The dress goes, it's kind of like a mock neck or a turtleneck, and it's got feathers on the sleeves, and it's sort of like a shining, it's like a beaded tweed with bell sleeves with feathers on the end. And then her makeup is done with the classic white face that she does, and she's done a sort of blush over like the butterfly zone of her face, and she's got freckles on it, and then a big like blue eyeshadow, so it looks sort of very like pastel, soft. Everything is very blended. And then on her actual face, she has somehow like glued, like on her cheekbones, two giant like raven feathers. So it looks like she has wings on her face. And we've got another picture of this also. And then she's got kind of, the dress has these big shoulder pads that are sort of overemphasized. And I believe it is a mini dress. Brad, your thoughts?
I mean, how can you complain? It's like if you're at a fashion event, she knows what she's doing and she's got good
Mm-hmm.
people working with her, but she's I mean, it's not something you would wear anywhere else. I mean, it's for an event like this, and I feel like she looks fabulous. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool.
I'm with you 100%, Brad. When I saw her looks for Fashion Week, I was like, that is how you do it. If you're going to go sit at a runway and the whole thing is just about fashion and people taking your picture, go all the way. Dress as a fucking bird. Like, yes, that is like what the people want to see.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. She knows her audience, and I feel like these feathers that she's wearing on her face, they block her peripheral vision. So
Yes.
it's like they kind of give her some privacy if people are looking at her.
I also just love an outfit that is like, that causes you to kind of like have a issue with like walking or seeing, like something that just gives you like a massive disability, like just like not having any peripheral vision, or the dress is too tight at the ankles and you can't even walk. I respect a look like that that's completely impractical, and I think having wings on your face might count there. Love this look, love Chappell's looks in general. I love that. I mean, I guess she's gay and that's a big part of it, but the way that she dresses, like she always looks great and beautiful, but it's almost never like a traditionally sexy look where like a straight man might look at her and be like, damn, she looks hot. It's like a look where you look at her and you're like, wow, she looks amazing and crazy and incredible. But she's not, I guess, not appealing to the male gaze is what you would maybe call it.
She's no Hilaria Baldwin, that's for sure.
She's no Hilaria Baldwin, exactly. Well put. And so our next outfit is our final Chappell Roan look. This one was for the Chanel show. And so she is wearing, we have other pictures of it too. So this dress it's got a velvet sort of corset top that goes down. It's like an empire waistline. Is that called an empire waistline? It's a low waistline. So it doesn't go at her natural waist. It's kind of like at her hips. And it's in this velvet. And then at her hips, there is a big, big princess skirt made of tulle with flower embroidery on it. And there's a big red bow around the smallest part of her waist. Puff sleeves that are also made of tulle with the beaded flowers on it. And then her makeup is sort of I like Marie Antoinette a little bit, I want to say. Like she's got a very like a small lip, kind of like a doll lip. Her eyebrows are completely drawn on, very, very thin. She's got a cat eye. She's got a her lash line. She's brought it lower than her actual lash line, so she really looks like a doll. And then her hair is in like perfect little ringlets, also very doll-like. Brad, your thoughts? Not that. There you go.
I mean, I don't hate this either, considering where she is. It's like, what is it, Raphaelite? Raphaelite? Maybe that's what the face is supposed to look like.
Oh, see, I don't even know that word.
I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but it's like one of these old paintings, and she's in Paris, and it is kind of Marie Antoinette. I think like,
and it's for Chanel, which I think this is pretty fitting for that.
Yeah, I think it's probably my least favorite of the three looks that we've just been evaluating, but I don't hate it. I think that, if there's one thing, I don't know, like the color black for the top and then the red bow, I kind of would love to
and
see
she's
it.
got a velvet black choker also going with it.
Oh, right. I don't know. Like the coloring maybe is something that I might tweak, but like she's got red hair. I can see why she would do it. It doesn't look
Yeah.
She doesn't look bad. She can do no wrong. She knows how to dress for these big events. And again, like you say, she's not dressing for the male gaze. She's kind of like making herself into an art project. It's kind of like
exactly.
Lady Gaga does this too, where it's like,
it's drag. Like
Right.
both of them, I think like that is something that they got from drag. And like that's basically what they're doing. Lady Gaga is a great example. And yet again, another instance of Brad and I sharing the exact same opinion about these clothes somehow. I included this one because I was curious if you would say that it was your least favorite, because I agree. I think she looks great, but of all the looks, it is, I would say, my least favorite of the three.
yeah, I just think the color scheme of the dress, the black with
is
this
like
red
the
bow.
block. Yeah. And the delicate flowers, then the pastel with the like bright red, dark black. It's a little weird.
I would have almost loved to have seen this dress with like a deep, like emerald green top. She could wear that color really well, and then like an emerald green
with red hair. Great.
That's what I mean. And then I don't know what
Yeah.
the bow. I don't know what bow you would do with that. Like maybe just
no bow.
Yeah, like just kind of go with the top in a different color, just to like make it a little bit more fun. There's something about the black that I think is too formal, and it doesn't necessarily match.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that this is like a vintage, like a super vintage, like 19th century kind of look or whatever, or maybe even before that.
But it's also modern, as parts of it that are modern. And I think the contrast is intentional, but I don't know that I love it.
Yeah, I don't know that I love it either, but she is just so striking and is so like kind of I don't know. She's got good instincts, and she can rock all these different crazy looks, like for whatever reason. So
absolutely, she's like got an eye for it, and like when she makes a choice, she leans into it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have an outfit where I look like a bird. I'm really gonna put wings on my face. Like she never half-asses anything, and I do appreciate that.
And like she's being in this picture with this dress, with this like kind of like Marie Antoinette look. She's in like this really red bathroom. It's like an all red
like
bathroom.
The Shining.
Yeah, like what? I wonder if that was like a set that was like totally predetermined, or if she was just somewhere that had a red bathroom and she's like, take my picture in here.
Well, so okay, looking at the tiles, I actually thought about this. If you look at the tiles, they're not all individual tiles. They're big squares of tiles. My theory is that this is the bathroom at the Chanel show, and they decorated the bathroom to go with the Chanel show because I believe that red was like the biggest theme color of the show. So that's my theory.
It's kind of funny that she's just standing in front of a bunch of sinks and like mirrors
Yeah.
and like a soap dispenser in a red bathroom, which is like,
It's a great choice.
yeah, it looks good. I mean, that's part of it. She knows like where to be photographed.
She knows how to be camp also. Be like, yeah, let's go into the bathroom and get a picture of me in this like gigantic, dress worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Anna Wintour is like peeing off camera. Like some red bathroom stall.
Anna Wintour doesn't pee.
That's right. Someone handles that for her. Someone pees for her.
Exactly. Yeah, she has an assistant for that. So our final look of Brad's Fashion Corner is our enemy number one, Adrien Brody. I don't know what show this is for. He is wearing I want to say, I don't know what brand it is actually, but he's wearing a collared sweater that is like a ribbed sweater that has like a gigantic collar for some reason. I don't know what kind of collar you would call that, but it's like you
Butterfly?
can button it up or a butterfly collar, and it is like it goes like all the way out to his shoulders, really exaggerated. He's got a button up white shirt underneath it. The sweater has sort of like when you have a sweatshirt and it's got a band at the bottom, but it's really, really thick. And then he's wearing like just some like, I guess, slacks that seem to fit him okay. And shoes that look like sneakers. And then I do want to show this screenshot that I got from him sitting at the actual fashion show, which will show you that if you look at his shoes, he's wearing what looks like Skechers. I don't know what the fuck those shoes are, but he's wearing like pantyhose, like the fucking socks. He's like, they're regular like bobby socks, but they're like see-through like skin tone, and like, but they're not like tall enough to be those socks that are supposed to look like you're not wearing socks. Like for men, they're just like short enough that you can tell that they're kind of almost like a see-through like tulle or pantyhose material. I don't know what the fuck that choice was. And it's all white. It's all like white and off-white. So Brad, your thoughts?
Hey, everybody. Just feeling really grateful. My spirit is light today. And just walking around Paris in my my white outfit with my pantyhose on. And it's just there's a lot of there's a lot of magic in this world if you're just willing to open your eyes and see it. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I can't say that I'm a fan. I can't say that I would endorse this outfit. I think that it looks a little goofy. Is what I think. And like, I think that like so much of whether or not something looks good, obviously it has to do with like your physical appearance and your body type and like what kind of clothes you're wearing and what the cut is and how it kind of matches your frame, right? But then there's also the issue of just like your personality, like and like the kind of like persona even that you cultivate.
Yeah.
Like Chappell Roan cultivates this persona of like the wild art lesbian chick at who like dances on tables at what's that at the Abbey and shit like that. Like, yeah, she's like a gay icon and like she's fabulous and like so it's like, oh yeah, she's got feathers on her face, like it just fits.
Right. And she carries it well. It's like you see she's wearing it, it looks natural, she's proud of it, it's not awkward.
And so this outfit on Adrien Brody feels like an outfit that should be on a different man. Like it doesn't feel like he shouldn't be wearing this, is what I think.
Yeah, I do. I get that it does feel like it just doesn't make very much sense on him. The color white somehow doesn't make a lot of sense on him for me. Like this full white look, like he's not carrying it with the right kind of confidence or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he looks like, what am I doing here? Like somebody talked me into this. That's what I feel. And then, and then this
like
fucking...
him sitting and looking at the show, he's wearing his sunglasses still, didn't take his sunglasses off. He's like, he does look really he looks like he's like thinking like, mom, pick me up, I'm scared. Like, he's like SOS.
And he's sitting next to in this photo, he's sitting next to Claire Danes, who looks very stylish and green.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
But he looks like it's like some sort of like, who would wear this? It's like some sort of like it's the kind of thing that like an Italian aristocrat, like a fifth generation Italian trust fund baby with no self-awareness would wear this outfit.
It's like what I would maybe describe as Euro trash looking a little bit. Like
Maybe, yeah.
maybe it's like like a third level son of an Italian aristocrat who is at a club, but he's got a table in a private zone at a club, and he's like maybe smoking a cigar and not talking to anybody who's like in his zone, and is
Yeah.
like it's trashy. The outfit looks cheap, almost. It looks expensive but poorly put together.
And I just feel like too, I've been seeing this a lot on celebrity guys where they're wearing these baggy pleated pants. These are pleated, right? Is there a pleat in these
Yeah,
pants?
definitely. They're like pleated, like I don't even know what kind of pants they are. Slacks?
Yeah, like listen, I'm kind of in the mid. Like I feel like I'm willing to make a compromise on this. I think skinny pants, like these super tight skinny pants that were fashionable for a while, I never liked those. I'm not built for
No,
those. And
they're
I just
not
feel like
good.
it's like not comfortable. It's like, what are we doing here? Like
And even if you are built for them, it's just not the best look on, especially on a man. Like I'm not a fan.
and then, but now we're going into this like wide, baggy, pleated, and like a wider bottom. It's like almost like boot cut at the bottom or something.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's like, why can't
We're
we just?
entering an era of bootcut jeans for men that is very frightening, and I don't like it. And these pants do kind of seem to be echoing it. They're also too long. I feel like they need to be shorter. They're dragging on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, and
It's
then
weird.
I bet you these shoes that he's wearing are like Prada shoes or something.
Oh, I'm sure.
If we're sticking with this Italian aristocrat thing, I feel like there's some sort of like, elite
Yeah,
sneaker.
Gucci, Prada, some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like a $1,700 sneaker.
Oh, and he's got a pinky ring on too. Yeah, he's really just looking like a huge douchebag here. That is crazy. Yeah, I feel you about the pants. I feel like they're like Coleman Domingo. When he wears pants like this, they're like somehow tailored better. They have a higher waistline that you can like see, and it's not wearing with this weird fucking sweater. Like it's something about the silhouette of the sweater and the pants are like conflicting with each other.
Yeah, they're different. They're different tones. I mean, like the sweater is
Mm-hmm.
like a
It's
white.
like it's like a maybe like a cream. Well, the pants are like a cream color, almost
Right.
and then the shirt is kind of like an off-white but closer to gray.
I just feel
Not
like
quite gray, but
and
it's the wrong white.
he's got these sunglasses on. This is a guy who's just come off like the most emotional. It's got to be the most emotionally exhausting process to like campaign for an Oscar, be flying all over the place, doing all these junkets, talking about yourself endlessly. And then
God.
all the anxiety that goes with like, am I going to win? Am I going to lose? I got to give a speech, and then you win, and it's like this huge elation, but then you crash from it when you realize that it's actually meaningless. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? You wake up, you have this trophy. It's like, okay, well, back to life and
That's over
suffering.
now.
Yeah. And then like within a week, you're on a plane and you're in Paris, and some stylist is like, wear this, Adrien, like put on this cream colored or these cream pants. And I feel like the look, I can't see his eyes because he's got these sunglasses on, but I think A, he's exhausted. He's in a crash.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
B, this photo where he's giving the peace sign, I feel like he knows deep down that he looks like a douchebag in this outfit, and he just can't.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Like he's got like the face of somebody who like, I don't know, like wet their pants and then had to wear like clothes from the lost and found at their school, and he's like trying to pull it off like it's an outfit he actually wants to wear, but in actuality he feels incredibly uncomfortable in it.
Yeah, I want to see that selfie video where he's like walking around Paris like,
True.
hey guys, I just left Paris Fashion Week and
His
feeling
collar
pretty
flopping in the wind.
yeah, feeling pretty miserable. I don't know who talked me into this shit, but my mood is dark and I hate myself.
Oh, well, when that comes, we will have to do a emergency episode about it, because I cannot wait for the Adrien Brody crash out video. He records where he's walking around, hey guys, it's a bad day out today, not having a good time, not feeling grateful for anything, I don't know why I'm here.
Well, what's the meaning of all this? What's the meaning?
What's the meaning? So, okay, our next story is about a topic that I earlier called one of our beats, and I think we accidentally sort of stumbled upon reporting on this. So it is the Ben Affleck Jennifer saga. I'm
Oh my
calling it the
God.
Ben Jen saga. So the Ben Jen saga we've had a new update in it as of this week. So I guess Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, not Lopez, Garner, were seen fondling each other at a paintball match. Now, a paintball match, that's my first question. What, like, was their kid doing paintball?
I think
Like,
it was a birthday party for like their son or something, and he had like paintball and his friends, and they were all playing paintball.
and his divorced parents were like fucking fondling each other at this fucking event. I mean, the pictures, they were really canoodling. Like, they were like, it was not just like, oh, one of them like, you know, brushed the other's arm or something. It was fondling.
I
It was
mean,
mutual fondling.
I'll say this. Jennifer Garner seems like a lovely human. She seems like a
She
nice
does.
person, and she does
Yeah.
good in the world, and she's beautiful. They have 3 kids together. Like, why did he ever, like, I guess he was what? He was drinking and gambling. Like, he sort of wrecked it, but it's like,
Why does Ben do anything that he does? I mean, the man is just like a depression storm where he just can't stop being chaotic.
I wish I could do a Boston accent, you know, like,
Oh my God. I
I
don't think I
fucked up my
can.
marriage, or, you know, whatever
My
that
marriage is fucked up.
It's
I
so
fucked
fucked
up my
up.
marriage. I feel like I'm continually shocked by what a Boston accent actually sounds like. Every time I hear one, I'm like, that really? That's what it sounds like? Like, I thought it sounded like something else.
I'm so depressed.
So depressed.
I'm miserable.
So
I'm not happy.
Not happy here. It's so fucking insane. So
Now we sound like the Kennedys. So we've gone from like South Boston.
it's true. You sound like fucking JFK now. It's kind of like how my Hilaria Baldwin accent goes to Pepe Le Pew really fast.
I want to reunite with my ex-wife at a paintball. I'm at a
Is that
paintball
even
birthday
JFK?
party.
Is that even like which president even is that?
That's JFK.
Okay,
I'm at a paintball birthday party with my ex-wife.
Just in case anybody is not following, that is Brad doing an impression of Ben Affleck in the voice of John F. Kennedy.
That's right.
So the next part of the story is that, okay, so Ben and Jennifer Garner were seen fondling each other at a children's birthday party at a paintball match. That is its own thing to figure out. We'll look into it. So next, after that, it was either Ben or it was somebody very close to Ben, you know, like a source close to the matter, told the press that he was open to rekindling things with Jennifer Garner, which, let me just say, obviously you were fondling her and we all saw it. So the man is addicted to Jennifers? Why can't he date someone who's not a Jennifer? Does he just stand in the street and say Jennifer, and whichever one shows up first, he's like, all right, great.
I refuse to date anyone not named Jennifer now or ever.
Like, who do you think is the next Jennifer that he's gonna go after if Jennifer Garner doesn't work out?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, oh, that would be nice. You know, you have these 3 kids. The kids would probably be thrilled if mom and dad were getting along and they got back together. Like, that does sometimes happen where
But
there's,
that is so crazy. It's like rekindling. Okay, he's remarrying Jennifer Lopez, divorcing Jennifer Lopez again, remarrying Jennifer Garner again. Like, holy fucking shit.
yeah. So, okay, this is what I was just going to say is that, like, I do like it for the kids. I like the idea of it. I like to see people get along. I
Yeah.
like to see people happy together.
It would be
And
sweet.
it would be sweet, but this is chaotic. I mean, I feel like for Jennifer Garner's sake, it's like, Jennifer, like, just, you know, be careful. This guy's like all over the place. He's having like a quickie wedding with J-Lo in Vegas, and then that blows up in a year. Like, it's just,
yeah, the man is not responsible. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's all over the fucking place. I mean, is he aware that like other people exist? Like, he could date someone whose name isn't Jennifer? Or maybe he can. Maybe he's got like a curse on him where it's just like Jennifer's for the rest of the time and that's it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I think also, and it's probably hard for him to date. I mean, it's got to be hard for like a rich, famous dude to like know who's like actually interested in him and who just
Besides
wants.
his ex-wife, I guess.
I guess. I mean, and look, they have a deep history. They had 3 kids together, so
Him and
I don't
J-Lo had a
know.
deep history too. Maybe they should go get married in Vegas like last time.
But like the question I want is like how much truth is there to any of this anyway? Like it's like this one
That's
grainy paintball video of him with his like arm around her, but then it's like I
They
don't
did
know.
seem pretty close, although who knows how touchy their relationship is or whatever, just naturally. I mean, but so the next part of this story is that Jennifer Garner's current boyfriend, who has just, we couldn't remember his name because he has the most like just milk toast nothing name of all time. His name is John Miller. John Miller, Jennifer Garner's boyfriend, is seen with his ex-wife shortly after this canoodling, shortly after Ben tells the press he's open to rekindling with Jennifer Garner. And then J-Lo goes to the press, and some source close to her says that she's fuming, quote unquote, about the whole thing.
Is she though? That's what I wonder. You think she really
Right.
is leaking to the press? I feel like they could just be making this shit up.
Well, no, I think that like the press generally has to have good relationships, or at least honest relationships with celebrities, because otherwise they won't get the stories that they need from those celebrities and from, you know, their publicists acting as like a source close to the celebrity. And so if it was entirely fake, I don't think they would report on it. I think they need something to bring back to Jennifer's people saying like, we know that it's true because of this or whatever. And like, but at the same time, I don't really know what the benefit is to that story coming out. Like, what is the benefit of, you know, Jennifer Lopez saying she's mad?
Yeah, I don't see it. I gotta say, if Ben Affleck gets back together with Jennifer Garner,
It'd be so fucking crazy. It'd be so fucking crazy. Like, it's like, I already kind of respect how, like, just manic depressive he is. He's just like, oh, I'm, like, depressed. I'm insane. Even sober, I'm gonna just make these terrible, crazy life choices of marrying and divorcing and remarrying, like, these women. It's like we have to stand. I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's kind of insane. Like, yeah, if he does that, we're gonna have to do, I mean, an emergency episode in the middle of the night if necessary. Cause what, like, that is like crazier than anything I've ever heard. Like my own grandmother, okay, married my grandpa, who was Mexican, and didn't know that my grandma was not Mexican because her Spanish was so good, and then that was the whole thing. But okay, she got pregnant with my dad. She married my grandpa. She divorced my grandpa before she gave birth to my dad. Then she got pregnant with my uncle. Married my grandpa again. Divorced him again before she had the baby. Ben is approaching that insane, which is really saying a lot.
yeah, I feel like he wants to do. I mean, he seems like a well-intentioned guy. Seems like a fun. I bet you he's funny, and I don't know.
He does not seem like a bad guy. It's true. He's like,
No.
no one's ever said that he was like a creep or a bad person. Like, he's like, seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, I think he had a drinking problem, which he cops
Yeah.
to. I mean, he talks about it. But then I think, and that can cause a lot of different bad behaviors. But I feel like he seems like a devoted father. Seems like he's a nice guy. And I think what I like about him is I think he's generally like miserable with the trappings of celebrity. He like doesn't like
Yes.
he doesn't like being famous, which I can respect.
It is really funny. Like, the way that he, with every single paparazzi photo, doesn't even like try to look better, look okay. He's always smoking a cigarette and drinking a coffee and just looking absolutely distressed, just like looking just despondent.
I was laughing when I was watching the Baldwins because I was like, wow, you know, like the only like white male celebrity who can come even close to looking as miserable as Alec Baldwin is Ben Affleck. I feel like those two they're in like a head-to-head competition for like who can look the most like just absolutely like depressed and miserable about being like a rich famous man.
A rich famous white guy. It's like too, like, I feel like they're covering the whole spectrum of like incredibly depressed white man, where it's like Alec Baldwin has the benefit of being actually old and like actually falling apart and just looking tired and fucked up, and like that makes it like, even though he's trying to act like he is not entirely despondent, you can just tell by looking at him that he actually is. Whereas Ben is pretty young, he's attractive, he could hide his depressed, despondent face if he wanted to, but he just doesn't. So it's like these like two different ends of being so despondent. It's so funny.
Ben, that's double suicide, Ben.
Team up to maximize their joint slay.
I will bury you alive, Alec. It's time to end this nightmare.
Time to end the long national nightmare.
I'm so tired of public life. Ben, Please, smother me with a pillow. I will not smother you with a pillow now or ever.
Please, enact the events of the vanishing on me. I beg of you.
I'm just like, I cannot. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see. But it's like, I feel like there's like, where there's smoke, there's fire with this stuff. Because like, remember they were like, oh yeah, Ben might be rekindling with J-Lo, and it was like,
Right.
you kind of saw that, and you were like, oh, that's bullshit, and then it happened. So it's like, who
That's what I
fucking-
mean. It's like, I feel like oftentimes, like, the exact stories where you're like, that's probably bullshit. I don't know. That's some weird thing. Are the correct stories. Because why would anybody benefit from this leaking to the press if it wasn't true?
I think now I'm having an epiphany that I feel like Alec Baldwin's true comeback is going to be, he's going to do some sort of buddy comedy with Ben Affleck where they're both just like bitter and miserable, like, and it would be like a really dark comedy.
Oh man, you should be a crisis publicist, because like that is 1,000 times like better as a rehabilitation device for Alec Baldwin than this reality show. If he was genuinely funny as like a truly miserable man in a really good movie, everybody would love him again.
Yeah, like
Like
lean into the
they'll
misery.
forget about anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like make fun of yourself. Get like, if it's a really well written script, like make it like Step Brothers level funny, but like about somebody who's totally miserable, like something that everybody can digest. Ben Affleck is a great actor; he'll be perfect in it. Like, that's a great idea. That is exactly what he should do instead of a fucking reality show.
Just called like miserable middle-aged men or something. Just
Miserable middle-aged men. That's the name of this episode.
stop eating eggs at a restaurant in Montauk.
Montauk. Maybe Ben and Alec will end up together in the end. Like, they'll just divorce and remarry people so many times that eventually they're like, you know what? Like, let's just go settle down in a nice house in Montauk and we can eat eggs together.
Run away with me, Ben. Let's leave this all behind.
I will run away with you once I have married 4 more Jennifers.
I must fondle another Jennifer.
It will be Jennifer Coolidge this time.
All right. Well, I feel like we've made some good progress here today, and we've come
Yeah.
to some very fascinating conclusions. It's always fun to talk with you, Mira Gonzalez.
Thank you, Brad Listi, and I hope to talk to you again soon. And to the fans, what's up, and goodbye.